Happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I'm wishing you a beautiful day today, although it's not so sunny outside right now. And I know we've not had a whole lot of sun lately. At least I haven't been exposed to it. If it's not been working, I've been at investment seminars and I've been closed in for way too long. And I think sometimes that can attribute to that feeling of overwhelmment, right? That feeling of sinking and feeling like everything is in turmoil. And that's what I wanted to talk about with you today on this podcast is what do you do when you feel like you're sinking? What do you do when you feel like you're all alone, especially when you work from home and you don't have a lot of that traffic of your coworkers around? So what do you do when you're feeling alone? You've got some fear, right? Maybe fear and anxiety. What do you do when you've got this fear vibrating in your body, right? Because we do have the opportunity to try and control that fear, but fear makes us often react with impulse, right? We don't actually think things through when we're feeling fearful because sometimes we're doing things in a panic, kind of like when you're a deer caught in a headlight, right? You just kind of either freeze or you jump in one way that you're not really expecting. So that's what I really wanted to talk about today is how to manage those feelings of anxiety, the feelings of feeling like you're sinking, like you're feeling overwhelmed. You've just got so much going on. And right about here is when your brain actually feels kind of numb, right? You're feeling like you just can't process another thought. So I don't know about you guys, but I definitely experience that from time to time, especially as you're trying to create and build your business online and you're using social media as an opportunity. And social media and the way how you use it like changes hourly, right? You're running this marathon that you can't even keep up with half the time because just when you start to get something down, there's a rule that changes. And if you're not dealing with Facebook, you're trying to figure out Instagram. And if you're not figuring out Instagram, you're trying to figure out LinkedIn. And then you're doing something wrong because you're not doing it on Snapchat. And then you're seeing all these other influencers who seem to have all their shit together, right? They seem to have the perfect videos and the perfect pictures and the perfect hashtags and the perfect makeup with the with the perfect clothes. And that creates a certain amount of anxiety because we're comparing ourselves to other people. So that does not happen to you sometimes, right? If you're working in the corporate world, and you're looking at Sally Joe next to you and she's got the cutest clothes and, you know, she's got everything all worked out and she's getting promoted and she's doing everything right and she doesn't have any kids. So you're not, you know, trying to keep up with saying to yourself, yeah, but you don't have kids that you have to manage and you don't have a mother-in-law in the hospital or whatever, right? So there's always that feeling of the Joneses, right? They're always something or someone doing something better than you. They're further ahead than you. And then you end up beating yourself up over it, right? Like I'm not as far as I want to be or I should be. Well, today we're going to talk about how to deal with some of those. I'm getting zinged and zanged all over the place. There's getting messages and people are trying to reach me and I want to make sure I'm actually on Facebook right now. So I'm going to take a quick second just to connect with myself on Facebook. I see there's 4 viewers. Let me just see here. Who can I see that's watching? Say hello to me if you are watching my podcast today, because it's always nice to know when people are watching, they give you a little shout out, they give you a wave, they say hi. There's my gal Sylvie. Let me turn all this down here. Make sure to say hi. Let me know that you're watching. Let me know if it's just me, right? Is it just me dealing with all this stuff or are you guys dealing with this as well sometimes? That feeling of overwhelmment, that feeling of not being able to manage it all. You've got being a mother, you've got being a wife, you want your social life, you don't have time for a social life, you've got your work, you want to be healthy, so you've got your food prep, you've got your fitness, you've got to take your car to the oil change. You never feel like you've ever caught up, right? You never feel like you actually get there to the finish line, because tomorrow you wake up and boom, it's a brand new day of routines. It's a brand new day of challenges. And sometimes you wake up going, what the heck is it all for, right? What's it all for? Why am I struggling like this? Why do I constantly feel like I'm sinking? And I'll tell you, that's not why we're here. That's not why we're here on this earth, right? We are definitely here for a purpose. And that's some of the tips that I want to talk with you today, because when you do feel like you're sinking, it's very hard to see the forest from the trees, right? Linda's saying, me too, I feel overwhelmed. Thumbs up, I'm getting some waves. Feel free to comment down below. This is a live video. I am watching your comments as they come in. If you can relate to anything that I'm saying, I'd love to know. Hashtag I can relate, because we're family here after all, right? We're our family. So I do have 10 tips for you today, 10 tips for you to deal with that struggling feeling. No, Shelly, I know the feeling. I have no life, right? It feels like, what do we have for ourselves, right? We always long for that financial freedom. When you see the retired couple out on the beach and they're holding hands in one hand and they've got their champagne in the other hand, and they're like feet up on the beach, and you just feel like, do they just stay there for days and days? Like, when was the last time you felt like you could sit down and read a book with luxury, right? Like, just guilt-free, time-free. You absolutely had nothing else to do but to sit down and just soak in a book or do something that was a little bit more fun, without feeling pressured for time, without feeling pressure for something that you've got to do, without feeling like you need to be somewhere. And then we create all that inner pressure, right? So I'm speaking from an entrepreneurial point of view, where as an entrepreneur and you're working for yourself and you're the sole breadwinner of the household, you are constantly pushed in the direction to succeed and to accomplish things, and of course to make money, because there is no stable paycheck. So every morning you wake up and you've got this combination between excitement and purpose and fear all at the same time, of being able to wake up and say, okay, I need to get out there. I need to hustle. I need to get things done. And then all of a sudden you are looking for the answer, right? You're out there looking for the answer, and you're saying, you know, is the answer in Instagram today? Or is the answer in following ClickFunnels today? Is the answer in following Chalene Johnson today? Where's my answer? Who's going to tell me what to do? What's the next thing that I need to do? And all of a sudden your brain is like, whoa, 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 right? And you're just feeling so dizzy. So imagine that day like you have at work, when there's the emails and your bosses and your colleagues and the buses and the traffic and this and the mother-in-law thing, and you know, the christening on the weekend, and your son's birthday's coming up, and all of these things are swarming all around. Hashtag I can relate if you are experiencing any of these things. So my top 10 ways for you to be able to deal with these things. First and foremost, the minute you're starting to feel this way, up and walk away, which is exactly what I'm going to be doing right after this podcast. I'm going to take those puppies and I'm going to put on my jacket and I'm going for a walk. You need to step up and walk away. Just take a break from the noise, because it's the noise, right? It's all, we're not designed to have this much visual and audio stimulation. We weren't designed for this. Okay, let's go back to Mr. Squirrel. Let's have a look at him out there on the telephone lines. There he goes. Let's imagine his life, right? He wakes up, scratches his little eyes, and he's like, okay, let's look for some food today, and let's make sure I stay warm today, and I got to figure out where I'm going to nest this winter, so let's get my little nest together. And he goes around and he's not bombarded with Facebook and LinkedIn and emails and bosses and kids. Well, he probably has kids, but he's not looking at all the homework for kids, right? What's the homework for kids? And where's the parent-teacher meeting? And, there's some comedy thing I've got to order tickets for and pack their lunches and all that kind of stuff, right? So the noise in our heads, like Mr. Squirrel is just listening to other Mr. Squirrels out there, right? And just listening to all the birds singing. And then he climbs up a tree and he looks that way and he looks this way and he climbs back down the tree that way, right? Am I going a little crazy? Right? But I'm telling you, the life of a squirrel. So they weren't designed to have this much noise. So step away and join the life of the squirrels. Go into one of your local parks, one of those ones that have nothing around but trees and a little walking path. Grab your dog, grab your cat, grab your bird, and go for a walk. Try to leave the phone at home, right? Just clear the head of noise, walk and get the heart going, get the heart rate beating, get the oxygen going. Yes, let's all be Squirrel Day. I think that's going to be a new thing in our 6-week transformation challenge. It's going to be, this is Squirrel Day. Today you take a day off from your job. You don't turn on TV. You leave your phone at home. We'll all go to a spa and we won't talk or see each other. We'll just sit in the hot tub, right? Okay. All right. So walk away, right? Get into nature. Walk down the street, do anything you can, try to leave the technology at home, step away from your desk, get away from the noise, get away from the people, and give yourself time to think. You need time to process. Tim Ferriss, okay, for those of you who don't know, you should Google him. This is somebody you should know who he is and what he does, because he's very he's a very interesting person. You want to Google this guy. So he will not work for weeks. Sometimes he can have that luxury when it comes to earning money, but in the form of productivity, sometimes he'll just take weeks and weeks off just to ponder, just to think. And some of the biggest world leaders, okay, the gurus out there will do nothing for hours and hours and hours, but just think. Just try and think things through. And you can't think through all the noise. You cannot. When you're trying to find something on your email and then you get distracted with a link that takes you to that website, and then you're reminded that you got to pay a bill, so you go over to your banking website, and then from there you're reminded that you haven't spoken to your mother today, and then you cannot think when you're bouncing around in all of the noise. So you need to step away. And sometimes that thinking process is going to take a lot longer than you actually want it to take, because you need to come to a resolution. You need to come to a plan. You need to find that clarity for whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish and trying to sort through. And sometimes it can take days, sometimes it can even take weeks before you can even take that next action to make sure that the things that you're doing, the next step that you're doing in your life comes from a place of clarity, of mental clarity. So you feel confident in the decisions that you're making in order to move forward. So a lot of us don't have days and weeks to ponder, but sometimes when it does come to making big decisions in your life, or if you're thinking about a career move, if you're thinking about something a project you want to do in your home, or if you're an entrepreneur and you're running your business, sometimes when you're getting that feeling of overwhelmment, you don't want to make a reaction based on fear. And you don't want to make decisions based on, I got to hurry up and just gravitate to something and grab something just so I have something. The something that you have is you, right? You always have you. Hi, Shiva. You always have you. Shiva's just logging on now and she's wondering what Squirrel Day is all about. Okay. Okay, so you need to find your positive oxytocin somewhere and not from food. Okay, so when you're feeling that little bit of overwhelmment and you've got that turmoil going on and you feel like you could get up and just go sit on the couch and put up your hands and give up and grab a bag of popcorn. But I suggest no, don't do that. Don't turn on the TV. Don't go to a distraction. You can't go to a distraction. You need to get into that stepping back mode. And the stepping back mode doesn't happen in front of the television, because the television is a number, right? It numbs you. because you're now focused in a false reality. You're focused in another world, on other people, in their lives, in a fake story, and it's numbing your brain and it's taking you away from your own life. This is not purposeful, okay? Take out your dogs, take some music, take some essential oils, take some things that perk you up and lift you up, okay? Grab a hug from your husband, go have sex, go and do something that's nourishing for the body, go get a massage, go laugh with your friends, leave your phone at home when you go to have coffee with your friends. So it's not even like sitting next to you, you know, when you're like, you're with your friend and you're bonding together, but you're both like, you know, watching like this and you're like, oh yeah, I was listening. What? You know, right? Like when you go visit your friends, leave your phone in the car and be completely engaged with them and have a really good belly laugh. Just recently I went and I took some of my girlfriends to Tony Robbins as a thank you as we hit one of our anniversaries. And there's a speaker there, Loretta LaRoche, who was, you know, I couldn't even tell you in the moment what she was talking about. That was so funny. But at one point I looked over at my friend Mara, and I mean, I'm in stitches, like tears are streaming down my eyes. I have this huge belly laugh. And I'm laughing. I don't even know, Mara, if you remember what she was saying at the time, but as it was, I got up from her presentation and I walked into the washroom, and sure enough, there she is. Actually, she had no shirt on. She was just there in her bra. I guess she was like taking the sweat off or whatever from her presentation. And I said, you know, I said, if I get nothing else from this weekend, I said, that belly laugh was worth the $500 right there. I said, I can't even remember the last time I laughed with the tears streaming down my eyes, right? So go and find your belly laugh. Go and find that situation or that friend that you know when you're like laughing hysterical. Oh, I think it's because she made us laugh, right? Okay, I don't want to start laughing again like that because I won't stop, but she makes you hold your belly while you're laughing. And Mara and I were like laughing at just how much belly we had to hold. That's true. That's what she was talking about. Oh my God, I was in hysterics. It was so fun. Okay, because I'm already getting teary-eyed just thinking about it. So tip number 3, okay, guys, you've heard me say this before. As you know, we have our 6-week transformation program, and we believe that your health is non-negotiable, and we help women make their health non-negotiable after they've neglected their bodies while caring for the people that they love. And one of the ways how we do that is by proving to them that this is the only asset that they were ever given in life. Okay, so you need to nourish your body properly. You need to honor your asset and fuel your body. So first thing in the morning, you need to get up and you need to start exercising, moving your body, even if it's a really light stretching or if it's a walk outside. It doesn't have to be crazy intense, but it should be enough to get the heart rate going, to get the blood pumping, to ignite some of those amazing hormones that will set you up for success throughout the day. So whether you're waking up at 6 a.m. or you're waking up at 9 a.m., that is the first thing that you need to be doing, is getting up and just shaking the body out, airing out the cobwebs, getting the oxygen in through the brain, getting the brain circulating with new thoughts. Breathe in some beautiful lemon and citrus essential oils, peppermint. It's going to really lighten you up. And by honoring your body, by fueling it with the foods it's going to feel good with, okay? The minute we put those processed foods into our bodies, and unfortunately wine as well, we start to feel crappy. And if we feel crappy, we're going to start feeling crappy about ourselves. And if we feel crappy about ourselves, then we go around in this vicious circle of all of a sudden the fear is there, the anxiety is there, our self-confidence is low, we feel demotivated, we feel, like we can't accomplish anything, and we feel bad about ourselves. And then, that's such an ugly hole to pull yourself out of. So honor your body by feeding your body with fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and milk, not milk, but meats, if that is appealing to you, and remove those inflammatory foods, okay, which is something we help you to figure out in the 6-week challenge, is just how to really get a proper routine going to make your choices a lifestyle choice instead of following a plan. So number 4, and I touched on this a little bit before. I don't even know how long I've been talking for. Someone should tell me, because I do tend to ramble on sometimes. So do let me know how long I've been talking for. But number 4 is stop comparing yourselves to others, right? So when you have projects, when you have things that are important to you, whether it be the hockey mom and comparing yourself to the Joneses and the neighbors and the cars that they're driving, or that girl's clothes and how cute she looks and wish you had a wardrobe like that, or the car that someone's driving, or the social media platform that someone's been building, or whatever, it's, you can model them, right? You can appreciate them, and you can look at them and say, I appreciate you, and I would strive to work towards that thing that you've accomplished. You must have worked hard to get there, right? So not to be envious, you can model after them, and you can use them as that way to lead you towards the future that you want. But don't compare yourselves to them, because you have to be you. You have to be you. You have to love you. You have to look back at your own accomplishments. You have lots of accomplishments, right? And you need to look back and bring them into your toolbox so that you're not comparing yourself, because that's only going to bring you down that sinking hole. Okay, because you're going to always strive to be and feel like something that your own mind is telling you you will never be, right? Your mind is telling you you will never be that. You're not that now. You're not going to be that then. And then you start to sink, right? Sometimes when that goal seems so far away and that other person is way up there and you feel like you're running that race after them. I'm not a competitive person. In fact, I go in the complete opposite direction of competition. Some people are monster competitive, right? And they need that because it drives them. I am not driven by competition. I'm driven by personal success and acknowledgement of the bars that I set for myself. So when I set my own personal bars pretty high. So when I do accomplish some of those bars, those are pretty great celebration days when I feel amazing about that. You knew it was coming, right? It's obvious. I'm going to bring this one up, but you got to get the gratitude going because you can't be fearful and filled with anxiety at the same moment in time that you're feeling appreciative, right? You can't be pregnant and not pregnant at the same time, right? You can't be happy and not happy at the same time. And what do I mean by that is that in that distinct moment, when you're closing your eyes and you're getting into state and you're bringing yourself into your body and you're saying to yourself, I have this beautiful home to live in. Not a lot of people have this beautiful home that I have. I have these 4 walls and a roof. I have a car. I have my husband. I have my dog. I have my son. I have this and that. And you go through in those moments and you're saying, we all know how things could be a lot worse, right? Well, when you're sinking in the hole, we love to like drown in that dirt, right? Like everything is so bad and we love to drown and soak it all in, right? And that's not going to serve you. That's not going to serve you. You need to sit on the platforms of where you already are today. So be grateful for what you have already accomplished and be grateful for the fact that your body works when other people's bodies don't work, and sit there for just a few moments and bring yourself up into that state. You've heard that 1,000 times, right? You've heard people say that 1,000 times. It's also very trendy right now, I find, in most motivational videos and things to say, to practice gratitude, but it's absolutely true, especially when you need it most, especially when you're sinking. I look back in times and I look at some of the people that I have in my life right now who are really working like so hard to fulfill the dreams that we have within the 6-week challenge. And I see them, they are breaking nails to help realize this particular dream, and how grateful I am to have those people here fighting the good fight for us to launch this business and help and serve our community. And sometimes when I do sit here and I feel kind of alone or isolated, especially when you work by yourself in your house and you're sitting there going, oh, I think about the people that are surrounded in my dream team. And I think about the blood, sweat, and tears that they put into helping to contribute to that cause. And that has to motivate you. How can it not? Right? How can it not motivate you when you have a team that's surrounding you, that are there and they're inspired by you and they're motivated by you and they believe in you and they're saying, we're here for you, Cher, we can do it. Like, how do you not feel grateful about that? So set in your priorities, okay? This is my, ongoing list of things. So I have my list and then I scratch it off when I get things done, and then I keep adding to the list and I scratch it off when I get things done. In those moments when you just don't know which way to turn anymore, the first thing that you do is you write down all of those things that are like swarming around in your head. Like, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. And then you take your highlighter and you're like, okay, those 3 things are the most important things that I need to get done today. And then if I skip right down to my tip number 10, you take tip number 10 and you're like, if I get one thing done today, I am accomplished. I am absolutely accomplished. I got to pick the one big thing that is going to push the boulder forward. And if I get that one thing done, boom, I nailed it. I did a great job. It's the hustle that we keep hearing everyone talk about today, the hustle, the grind, and that if they're working until 3:00 in the morning and then, you're seeing them get all these things accomplished in such a short period of time, so that you want to try and run that same race at the same time. And sometimes just accomplishing one thing in the day and feeling really good about yourself and celebrating that moment that you've accomplished that one thing is perfectly okay. And then, hey, if you're up to do the next thing, choose the next thing on your list and then do the next thing. And you're like, hey, cool, I got 2 things done today. Fantastic. And be okay with that, right? And make your bed. It's amazing how liberating it feels when you make your bed in the morning. I am like the number one person for not making their bed forever, since I was a kid. And for the last good while now, I've woken up in the morning and I'm like, making the bed first thing. And it's true, the top gurus are going to tell you this, but even starting off your day by accomplishing the fact that you've got your room looking nice for when you return to it at night is very soothing. You feel good in the morning for having done it, but you feel even better at night for going into that room and having a beautiful room to go to bed in. So that's a pretty big deal. The next one on my list is having some faith. You have to have faith in knowing that everything's going to work out, right? The mindset that you have right now when you're feeling this way will pass. So Tony Robbins will say the secret to happiness is progress, making some progress. And then we go back to our last tip where we said getting at least one thing done in the day, right? So you get at least one thing done, you have progress, you have happiness, and then you have faith that you have pushed the boulder one nudge forward, that you made something happen today towards your dream, and you feel really good about that. You celebrate it, and now we've got wins all around. So whereas an hour ago, we were like feeling, like we were sinking and burning out and feeling overwhelmed and not knowing what to do or how to handle all this stuff, all of a sudden in 1 hour, you've gone for a half an hour walk to clear your mind. You've listened to some music. You've used some essential oils to clean and clear and clutter out your mind. You've had an opportunity to think about what it is that your priority is. So you've gone through that list of things that you have to do. You've chosen 1 to 3 things that you know should really try and get done today. You execute and get those 1 to 3 things done in that day. You celebrate the fact that you got it done. Maybe in that time, you give yourself a little reward, right? For me, it's usually hot tub time because I don't often honor myself by giving myself a whole lot of hot tub time these days because I'm super busy. But you honor that time. You give yourself that 15 minutes of luxury. Maybe it's one of your favorite, 20-minute shows or something like that, or it's a podcast you've been wanting to listen to, or it's a bath, or it's just one little tiny reward that again settles and calms your mind and allows you to take on the next day, right? So have faith in yourself, believe in yourself, know that these things in your mind, they're going to pass. This feeling of overwhelmment, this feeling of fear and anxiety, it will pass if you implement these things. If you consistently go through day after day and you implement these stress management tools, these things will pass, especially as you get progress, especially as you start to manage those things that you're feeling overwhelmed about. And, for the parents and the professionals out there that are feeling crazy overwhelmed, that you have way too much going on in your life and you don't know, you have to cut the fat, as they say, right? In budgets, when you're budgeting money, they tell you to cut the fat, trim the fat. And that means, obviously stop spending money where you don't absolutely have to. So stop spending time in areas where you don't absolutely have to. Go through, we're coming up to November now, so go through the next month and cut out all of the fat of anything you don't absolutely have to be doing. Like cancel it, just cancel it. You absolutely don't need to be doing those things. Try and not sign up your kids for as many activities as we tend to do. Because it can be overwhelming, and just spend the good quality time with them by laughing and coloring and making puzzles and going for walks with them or activities together with them, like to the science center or something, do more time just connecting with them instead of shuttling them all over the place, and just spend some good old-fashioned downtime. At the end of the day, guys, as I wrap up, I've probably been on here for God knows how long. Listen, every single day we have one opportunity to sink or swim. Every single day we have that choice to sink or swim. Every morning when you wake up, you'll ask yourself, am I going to sink today or am I going to swim today? And you may not be a champion every single hour of the day, but you might be a champion for 2 or 3 hours of that day, or 6 hours of those days, and celebrate that time and see it as a swim. See it as a swim, that you're winning, that you're progressing, that you're getting further, that you're getting things done, and acknowledge those ones and be thankful for them. And, in that morning time, you're going to say, I'm not going to sink today. I'm not going to sink. It's not an option. Failure is not an option. I will fight this tooth and nail. I may not be as productive as I would like to be, but I am going to fight it every bit that I can. So I'm going to take these steps. I'm going to reset my brain. I've got my little action plan now to get me back on track. And with that, I'm going to wish you a high five with a butt slap, as we say in my 6-week challenge, guys. If you have found today's podcast helpful, I sure hope you have. #useful podcast. I would really love to know what your favorite part was about this podcast so that I know how I have served you today. Definitely wanted to come on today and do a live video to connect with you on this very important topic. We are doing our next 6-week transformation challenge on November 3rd. We serve women who have neglected their bodies while caring for the people that they love. And all of a sudden they look down and they say to themselves, where am I? Where's me again? So join the 6-week challenge to get live interactive virtual workouts with our professional instructors. You'll get your own private accountability coach to help you every step of the way of our educational program. We use functional medicine strategies. We use fitness and nutrition to help you make your health and your life non-negotiable again by helping you to create routines and habits that are a lifestyle. You will change your life by creating these new habits in your life, and we help you to embed them into your life. So you're not following a plan, you're not following a program, you're creating your lifestyle that's appropriate for you in your life. So with that, guys, I'm going to once again give you a high five with a butt slap. Thank you for watching today's podcast. Please share it with your friends. You know that's always helpful for us to share our message around. Have yourself an amazing day. Bye, guys.